we move on to react to some of the top soccer headlines. Wow, the show has been, we went pretty long with the segments. We were at 55 minutes for the last segment of the show. But there's some interesting things to talk about. First of all, CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers are on their way. Let's pull it up real quick. Bolivia were able to get a win over Venezuela 4-0 at not in La Paz, but at Municipal Stadium El Alto. I don't know. This is they're kind of Bolivia altitude, and so originally they played at La Paz, but the altitude is higher at the Municipal Stadium El Alto. It's about 1,840 steps up. It's 4,150 meters above sea level, and it's now the new home for the Bolivian national team. And La Paz Stadium has a capacity of 41,000 around or so, but they've decided to go in the stadium a little bit more than half of its population of its capacity to get that added altitude incentive for Bolivia. And they went out and they won 4-0 against Venezuela, against a Venezuelan team that had a really good Copa America. They got out of their group as group winners. They did have that they did lose to Canada in the knockout stages of that Copa America in the quarterfinal, but they only lost on penalties. And it's I didn't watch the game, so I couldn't give you really a tactical analysis of it, but that's a surprising result. But again, that altitude makes a big difference for Bolivia, and the fact that it's even worse than it is in La Paz. I'm interested to see some of these big teams when they go in there. I think Brazil is yet to go play at Bolivia. Brazil. They played in Brazil actually. So I'm interested to see how these big teams fare when they go to Bolivia, as Bolivia were able to trounce Venezuela 4-0. Argentina, without Messi, were able to get that 3-0 victory over Chile. They trounced them. This game played at the Monumental in Buenos Aires in front of 80,000 plus Argentinian fans. And McAllister, Julian Alvarez had an absolute stunner, and then Paulo Dybala caps it off in the 91st minute. He came on off the bench. Argentina were able to dominate Chile. No surprises there. Argentina, they're under Scaloni, who I thought there was a chance that he might leave post the Copa America. The comments that he had before the Copa America, sort of questioning his future with Argentina, questioning whether he'll continue to have that sort of desire and passion in him. Well, he stayed on after this Copa America. He's managed his World Cup qualifier, and I happen to think he must think, okay, he's willing to take this team to the World Cup, and he's a brilliant international manager. The way he has Argentina playing, he's a great coach. And it's great news for Argentina, and they continue to have a dominant display in the World Cup qualifiers with 6 wins and a loss. That loss that they had, it was to Uruguay actually. So hats off to them. Tomorrow Uruguay take on Paraguay in the CONMEBOL World Cup qualifiers. Brazil, we just talked about this in the last segment, they take on Ecuador, and Peru take on Colombia. We take our attentions to the Nations League in our international roundup. In the Nations League, should we talk about all the games, or should we just do Nations League, the main sort of groups? Let's only discuss the main sort of groups. League A, which we had so we had a few groups play in League A. Scotland at Hampden Park lost to Poland 3-2. Very disappointing result for them after a disappointing European Championship to lose at Hampden Park. Steve Clark, he's been a little criticized post that European Championship, and and the criticism is only gonna grow. And it'll be interesting. It's a bad loss to Poland to lose that at Hampden Park. It's really unacceptable for Poland. But we'll continue. We'll continue to track Scotland as they move on in the Nations League. Portugal got that 2-1 win over Croatia in Portugal. Ronaldo getting his 900th goal. But Portugal didn't look that comfortable in this game. Croatia had a few of their moments. But at the end of the day, Portugal were able to get a critical victory there. And the two favorites in that group going off with Portugal, Croatia, Poland, Scotland. There was only two groups that played today in League A of the Nations League. Switzerland took on Denmark, and Switzerland had that really good European Championship. But in this game against Denmark, they were outplayed. Denmark was far better than them, having 17 shots to 5, 8 shots on target to 1. They really controlled this game, and they were able to get the win. It was a late goal in the 82nd minute, but yes, the red card in the 52nd minute by Nico Elvedi did change the game in that second half, in which Denmark took advantage of it at the Parken as well. Denmark was the home stadium. Then Granit Xhaka eventually he got sent off as well in the 87th minute, but that was after already they've gone down 1-0, and I don't think that had a much big impact in the game in terms of generally, but that red card in the 52nd minute by Nico Elvedi, obviously that's a huge moment, having to play basically the duration of a second guard with 10 men. That's horrible. It's just not a place you want to find yourself in. And then the big game that I tuned in, and it was kind of a snooze fest, was that Spain-Serbia game. No real action going on. Spain obviously being more progressive, controlled the possession with the 74% possession, having 21 shots to 9 for Serbia, 5 shots on target to 1 shots on target for Serbia, 5 shots on target for Spain. This game was played at the Red Star Stadium, which is gave the advantage to Serbia. But yeah, Spain weren't able to get that a goal. This is their first game since they won the European Championship. They came out as well with a strong team, playing Carvajal, Raya, Lenormand, Laporte, Raya, Carvajal, Lenormand, Laporte, Cucurella, Zubimendi, Fabian Ruiz, Daniel Olmo, Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal. This was a really strong team. But yeah, Spain, they couldn't break that Serbian defense down and get that goal. But this is the best team in the world it's probably the second best team in the world. We'll give that honor to Argentina, as they are the defending World Cup and Copa America champions. And by the way, that Finalissima, Spain versus Argentina, that's gonna be one heck of a Finalissima. I'm gonna be very excited to see that. I don't know if they've announced a date for that game, but it'll probably be sometime in the June of 2025. That's what we're expecting, and yeah, we're all excited to see that. So yeah, that's the wrap ups of this summer's international of this current international set of matches. We'll talk about more about tomorrow. There's going to be more international games. We'll talk about the games but overall, we went a little bit overboard. But thank you guys for tuning in to the GSMC Soccer Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad